And then part one finishes with what we call module 4, which is an Ayurvedic restorative yoga module. This is where we do a deeper dive into Ayurveda. So we're looking at doshas and koshas and seasonal rhythms and life rhythms and daily rhythms. And we put together the Ayurvedic sequences for restorative poses to really deeply, deeply restore the health and vitality of each student. So if someone has a Pitta imbalance, what are the restorative poses we recommend for them? How do we encourage them to practice restoration if their fire is out of balance? If someone has a Kapha imbalance, which restorative poses are more suited to them? Sometimes with a Kapha imbalance, you want to lie down a lot. So the restorative poses in the Kapha part of the sequence are not all lying down. Sometimes you have to stand up, even if you have a Kapha imbalance. And then in the Vata imbalance, we teach students how to get more grounded, how to get the Vata to come back down and in, and to be a resource for inspiration and lightness, rather than a feeling of flitting and anxiety. With the Pitta people, let me go back to that one. It's really helpful for Pitta to recognize when it needs to rest, and digest. And so Pitta is fire. It has to do with our fire element and how we digest food, but also how we digest life events, how we integrate and metabolize, and how we let go of that which is not nutritive. Once we've eaten a meal, for example, how do we let go? So the Pitta module, for example, can be very helpful for digestive imbalances, as well as migraines, skin conditions, perimenopause and menopause, and feelings that rise up in Pitta when it's out of balance, like frustration, irritability, anger, urgency. We use this restorative module to help Pitta navigate those things back towards health. For Kapha, the imbalances tend to show up as edema and sluggishness, congestion in the sinuses and the chest and head, or a feeling of congestion in the body as a whole. Like this ama, this residue, is very deeply seated in the body. It can appear as like puffiness, or sometimes we're over our metabolic natural set point, so we're a little bit beyond our base weight as a body composition. As well, Kapha can show up as things like diabetes, one of the conditions that's really pervasive in our country right now. So the Kapha restorative poses are to help improve the endocrine function. And of course, all these poses work together because the brain is navigating all these systems for us, but we're really focusing in Pitta on digestive system and in the Kapha on the endocrine system. And then the Vata imbalances tend to show up as anxiety, insomnia, fear, the kind of sleeplessness at night, really like late night, early morning, where you feel like you're ruminating on all the fears and anxieties and the worries of life. Vata also shows up as forgetfulness, and in later stages of life, it leads to things like the Parkinson's condition or tremors and so on. As well as in the later stage of Vata in life, we also have osteoporosis and some other conditions to really be on the lookout for as a yoga therapist. So in the Vata restorative poses, we're looking at how do we nourish Vata to be more grounded, more stable, and more capable of providing its innate capacity for insight and inspiration, providing that to the person, heart, mind, and body, so they can make use of it. So it's really a very comprehensive week of restorative yoga, and I find that the students are deeply restored themselves by practicing it, as well as by learning how to set up students in yoga poses, in restorative yoga poses. It's beautiful to watch the process in that module. So that's part one. It's 4 modules, 4 4-day modules, and we dive deep in. We then have a few weeks off. We go back in. We have a few weeks off. We go back in, and so on, so that you're integrating and acclimating along the way. Good. Let me talk about part 2 with you in just a moment.